Let's go live! Hi, I'm Tim Van Milligan, and today is April 28th, 2023. This is RockSim Live, and we're here to talk about RockSim, how to design rockets, RockSim Pro, or the Launch Visualizer. I have a chat going on. And if you have a question about RockSim, RockSim Pro, the Launch Visualizer, or general rocket design questions, I'll be happy to try to answer them today. I got the chat going, and I don't have any questions yet, but we got a number of people here in the building. We have 46 and 2 Tool. He says hello. I don't recognize that name, but that's cool. We have Terry Wheelock. He says, hello, Tim, and he always gives me the sticking out tongue googly face. Carlos K. from Marietta, Georgia, MOB Rockets is in the house, and Alfred Indy has said hello. So hello to everybody. I hope you had a great week. I did not get to launch rockets last weekend. And our club launches on the 1st and the 3rd Saturday. So tomorrow is the 5th Saturday. So I am getting rocket withdrawals right now because I have some rockets that I want to fly. And the next launch, I got to wait another whole 8 days. So I hope you don't have to wait that long. Cool. We have Rosa here and Troy Ermit. And Fat Bank from Katy, Texas. Cool. Everybody, it's so glad to see you. Let me switch screens to go to my desktop and we'll get started. If you've never heard of RockSim before, you get it at apogeerockets.com. This is our website. We got this notification here that says there's going to be a snowstorm on Tuesday and Thursday, and Tuesday we did get some snow, and Thursday night we got some snow, but didn't really accumulate, so that can be taken down now. So now it looks like hopefully for a few more days we don't get any more snow. I think our weather forecast looks pretty good. It'd be a really great day to launch tomorrow. Yeah, so if you're on the Apogee website, here's the Launch Visualizer link. The Launch Visualizer is basically a simulator on the internet, so you don't need to download any software. You can just fly your simulations there. You do need RockSim files. There are some sample designs that are included, but if you make an account, and it's a free account, you can upload your own designs, and you can get RockSim files here on the Apogee website. You just find any kit, and usually there'll be a RockSim file there. So if I go to shopping and I go to like skill level 2 kits, and I find a kit, you know, the Aspire, you come here on the kit page, and here's the RockSim file. You click that, and it'll go down to the where you download it on the page, because this is just, you know, kind of a link to further down on the page. So you just download it right there, and then you have to upload it back into the Launch Visualizer. And we have to do that because we have thousands of users, and they each have their own database. And we don't want to put 1,000 rockets in 1,000 databases, because that just kind of duplicates everything, and you may not use many of them. So you have to upload the ones that you want, but it's free, and it only takes a split second to do it. Okay, so if you're on the Apogee website, and if you go to the home page, and then this scrolling banner bar here, there's a place to sign up for our newsletter. I'd recommend doing that. Here's the Launch Visualizer again. And then here's the RockSim. So if you click on that, it'll take you to a page where you can, you know, download a free demo. Right now we're doing the RockSim live training, which is this image right here. So if you click on that, it will take you to our archives. And we're on episode number 118 today. Last week was 117. And these are the things that we talked about. We talked about the SpaceX launch, because that was cool. Terry had a question about a rocket car. We talked about 3 fins versus 4 fins, and magnetic deployment. So I'm just looking over here and just checking to see in the comments what's going on over there. It's been kind of quiet. You guys can ask questions. MOB Rockets says, Tim, please know that I am unable to resist buying every new kit you are introducing. That Wayfarer looks excellent. So he's talking about our next kit, which comes out on Tuesday. Let me switch screens here, and this is the next kit. I brought it out. It's called the Wayfarer, and it's about 15 inches long. It's a BT60. It's got these nice big fins. It's got a really simple one-color paint scheme, and it's got all decals, lots and lots of decals. And in fact, there's decals for both sides of every fin on that rocket. So, you know, sometimes you buy a kit and they only give you like 2 decals for the fins, and if you turn it around, it's blank on the other side. And that's kind of cheating. So, you know, we want you to have a nice kit that's really decorated. So no matter which angle you look at it, you're usually going to be looking at it like from that end as the rocket's going up. We don't have any decals on the bottom of the fins, but something to think about. So that's the kit that's coming out on Tuesday, and it's called the Wayfarer. If you'd like to get more information about that, just remember to go to our homepage and make sure you're subscribed to our newsletter. If you go to How To and Guides and come down here to the Peak of Flight newsletter, you can subscribe right over here. You know, subscribe me, or you can go to the homepage and find that banner right here that says sign up, and it takes you to the same place where you can sign up for the newsletter. But we're not here to talk about the newsletter, although there's some really cool stuff in the newsletter. In fact, today we released our second newsletter, and it had some information that I didn't previously release, and I'm not going to release it again until the new product is ready. So if you wanted that sneak peek of things to come, you got to be on the newsletter. In fact, we got a couple of newsletters. We got the regular Peak of Flight newsletter, and then we got the RockSim newsletter. The RockSim newsletter goes out on Wednesdays, and if you're not signed up for that, just go and sign up for the download for the free trial of RockSim. So if you go to the homepage and you find that RockSim thing, and it says the free trial version right here, you click on that. You fill this out, and it'll give you the link to download RockSim, but it will also sign you up for our newsletter, our RockSim newsletter, specifically for RockSim. You don't have to download the trial if you already have it, but it will get you onto the newsletter list for RockSim. And in that newsletter, it starts out with an autoresponder. So I think there's 10 messages that go out, one a day for 10 days, and then after that, then you're on the once a week. So every week we have a little tip or something exciting about RockSim. Okay, so Terry. Last week he wanted to design a rocket car. Now he wants to design a boat. Can't do boats. These are paper rockets. They'll just get all wet and soggy and sink. No, we can't do boats because I can change the density of air. If you launch your boat straight up in the water, I guess if you're on the bottom of the sea, but it wouldn't go very high. Kevin's Model and More says, he's saying to MOB Rockets, are you the one who uploads vids from southern Arizona? He says, I love your content. Awesome. If that's you, MOB, how about you put in your YouTube channel there or wherever you're uploading, and then we'll have it here in the comments where people can check it out. Kevin's Models and More says, nice to see you. I love your little x-ray book. That was awesome. And Johan says, oh, I saw an awesome 3D printed outboard motor this week on YouTube. Okay, any rocket questions, people? Crazy people, crazy. Rocketeers are, they're my friends. They fit in really well. Okay, so I did get one question that came in from Carlos. He says, many potential launch visualizer users launch with a local club. My local club, SOAR, has several different sites that they use and often join or share with other clubs. Would you consider changes to the launch visualizer that would make it able to keep track of several sites per club, as well as making links available for those clubs to use? Okay, so he's talking about the launch visualizer. So let me open the launch visualizer. So this is the launch visualizer. So you got to go to rocksim.com is the launch visualizer. And I have already logged in. So you can see here's my account. I'm logged in. And then once you are logged in, you can, like I said before, you can upload designs, and you can also change launch sites. The default launch site when you go to launch of a rocket is in Pueblo, Colorado, because that's where I fly my rockets. So I just chose that as the default launch site. But there is a database of launch sites. So if you click on that button that says choose launch site, it has both NAR and Tripoli launch sites. So these pink ones, as I'm scrolling through, are the NAR, and the blue ones are the Tripoli launch sites. And then there's some green ones, which are private or launch sites that are in my database, so they're not public. So, you know, if I would have selected this one right here and I click OK, it's going to load a map and show that launch site. And it's still loading. It's kind of like a Google Maps, but it's actually Bing. And this looks like it's launched near some kind of football stadium. Looks like they're building something over here, maybe a new high school. And this is fully three-dimensional, so you can look at it from different angles. So here looks like a main school. And I don't know what they're building over there, if that's a part of the school or something. I'm not sure where this is located. North right now is off to the bottom left. Now let me switch that forward so north is pointed straight up so we can get a view. So that's Saginaw. So is that in Michigan? Yeah, that's in Michigan. Okay, so Carlos's question is, what if a club has several launch sites? Can you put them in the database? And the answer is yes. So I think he said he's from SOAR. So let me go to the launch site, and if I type in SOAR, so here is a SOAR rocketry at Mill Spring Academy, and there is also a club link right here. So that's that club, and if can I do a copy and paste on it? Probably not. But I can select that launch site, and it put a red dot right there. So here's Atlanta, Georgia. And if I zoom in, I can find that launch site. Oh boy, there's a lot of trees around here. He's launching from a baseball field right there. Okay, so say a club has another site, and I think he gave me the link. SOAR rocketry dash Let me open up a new tab here. www.soar rocketry.com or .org /launch dash sites, and let's see what comes up. Okay, launch sites. Okay, it says always remember these fields are private property. So here's Mill Springs Academy, and here's Dawsonville Ball Ground. Okay, so we can click on that. Let me open that in a new tab. Okay, so we have a Google map here of this launch site, and that's in Ball Ground, Georgia. There's Ball Ground, Georgia. So if I go to, so importing these directly from this is not so easy. I need the latitude and the longitude, and I don't have them. I wonder if I click on or do a right click on there. Okay, so this is a little bit harder. So if I zoom in, Kelly Bridge Road. Let me see if this will pop up in Google or in RockSim or Launch Visualizer. So Control C. There's a little search here, but this search doesn't quite work the way we want it. Ball Ground, GA. No, didn't find it. Okay, so there's another way. I need the latitude and the longitude. So what I can do, I want to open up Google Earth, because I know Google Earth will give me the latitude and the longitude. And it's buried under all my stuff here, over here on my desktop. So I'm moving everything. Come on. There it is, Google Earth Pro. And Google Earth Pro, I know, has a better search feature. Okay, close that. Okay, so Dawsonville, so I'm going to type in, or this whole thing, I'm going to do a copy there. Go to the Google Pro and do a search for that address, and it should find it, because this is a better search engine. Showing here, people are saying my mic is out. I did not do anything. Is my mic back? I hope it is. Audio dropped. Is it back on now? While that's happening. Okay, can hear you now, Tim. Hey! Okay, thank you. I had Brendan walked in and let me know. I don't know what happened because I didn't pull on anything. I'm looking for the preferences for, I don't want that. That's opening stuff. I want the preferences where I know there's where you can change the preferences, edit. Tools, tables, GPS, ruler, view, explore. Golly. Well, why does it always do this to me? Why can I never find what I'm looking for? Add. Search, help resources. I know it's going to do this. Describe your resources. Coordinates in decimal. Find and use location. Change courses. Okay. Okay, open Google Earth, move your mouse over different locations. If your mouse, okay, change the way based on you can choose anything. Okay, how do you do it? Open Google Earth, click Options, 3D View. At the top, click Tools, Options. There we go. There's what I'm looking for. Decimal degrees. Apply. Okay. Now, when I put a tick mark there, look there, now I got it. So that is that coordinate. So I'm going to copy that, and then I'm going to go back to the launch visualizer, and I'm going to put that in there. I'm going to take this one, copy that, and paste that one there. Why is it doing that? And maybe it doesn't like that degree right there. Come on. Copy. What is going on? Minus. Let's do a refresh. Come on, people, what's going on? Refresh. There we go, I got it in. And what was this other one now? Copy. Paste that, and then the other thing that we need is the altitude, and so the elevation is down here in the corner, so it's 1,386 feet. 1386, and this is in feet. Oh, come on. Feet. 1386. Okay, so now it shows that I have alright, so that's in the location that we want. Alright, but that's not where I put it on here on Google Earth. Well, I guess it actually was. Okay, so that's a launch point. Now to save this, we need to say save this launch site, and we're going to call it SOAR, and then what was the name of that launch site? It was Dawsonville. SOAR-Dawsonville. Okay, and I want to copy also this launch site URL because I want to put that in here, and I want to put the club name SOAR. And is this a rocketry club site? And that's yes. Contact email, I don't know. And I don't have a description or any special notes. Is permission to launch here? Yes, because it is private land. And I'm going to do submit. Okay, so once I do this, it saved it into my database. So now it's not in the public database yet. So to get it into the public database, you have to do, well, first I need to choose it. SOAR. Okay, so it's under my private. See, there's public launch sites and private launch sites. So now if I search in this private one, here is Dawsonville, and I click OK, and it moves it there. So because I need to see it here, and then I'm going to say share this launch site, and it's looking in my database, and this is the one that I want to share, and I hit share, and basically what happens is it goes into the database, but it has to be approved, and so I can approve it, and then it will be in everybody's public launch sites. So that's, you know, how you add a different launch site into the database. And I'm looking for, yeah, so over here, here's Atlanta again, and so here are these other two launch sites that SOAR uses. So this one will be the Dawsonville, the one I just added. And if you click on these, it will tell you what, you know, how to find that one. So if I wanted to go to this one, I could just go choose a launch site and then type in that name, Society of Tellus Amateur Rocketry, and I could get the URL for that. So if I went search Tellus. So here's the Society of Tellus Amateur Rocketry, and if I go this way, and it has the URL, so if I wanted to get information, that's the URL I would look up. So that is how you add multiple club launch sites into the Launch Visualizer database. Now you have to submit them. We've already got a pretty big database, but we don't have, unfortunately, we don't have the time to find all these different club launch sites. But you can submit them, and I will gladly enter them, approve them, to be put into the Launch Visualizer database. Okay, so hopefully that answered your question, Carlos. And his second question was, does Apogee sell, or do you know of electronics that can reverse polarity of a flight event? He says, imagine holding the nose on during boost and coast, and then at Apogee the polarity reverses, then the electromagnet that was holding it pushes it apart. Then we don't need pyrotechnics. And so his question is, do you know of any electronics? And the answer is no, I don't know of any electronics. But that doesn't mean that you can't make some. So if you do, let me know, and the next time the question comes up, then I will know somebody that's, I know some people that have been working on it, but they don't have a product to show yet that's for sale that other people can buy. And I think that's the intent of this question, is he wants to buy something. So right now the answer is no. Okay, so Kevin's Models and More. I have an Estes Supernova. The booster fins face forward. Is there a way in RockSim to rotate the booster to face a more traditional way as opposed to having to redraw the fins. Okay, so let me open RockSim here, and he's got a supernova. And I don't know if there's an Estes supernova in the database. So if I look in the designs folder, there's the Estes folder. And no, I do not see a supernova in there. So let's go search on the web, because this will be a good time to show the proper way to add a new Estes supernova RockSim file. Let's look on that. Okay. It's not jumping out at me, but let's go to the rocketry forum and do a search here. Supernova and search. Okay, so what comes up? Boy, oh boy. There's just so many. It's the supernova build. Let's look at that. Two fins. And painting nose cone, Estes javelin. Man, oh man, this used to be a lot better. That's on here. That's the rocketry forum. I wanted to go to rocket reviews. All right, this is what I was looking for. Supernova. Okay, Estes supernova. Supernova payloader. What I'm looking for is an Estes or a RockSim file. Let's see. No RockSim file. Come on, people, aren't you putting out RockSim files? That's a terrible picture. Okay, so that didn't work. So what we'll do is we'll create something that's a two-stage rocket. So let's open the Estes go up a level. Estes, I'm looking for the Estes alpha. There it is, alpha 2 or alpha 3. Do you want to save it? Yeah, let's save that. Okay, so what I think the supernova is they took an alpha and then they made a booster and they just flipped the direction of the fins and then they interlocked the fins. Okay, so the way we would do this, but the question, Kevin, is no, there's no way to just flip a whole part like that. You do have to change it, but it's relatively easy to do. So let me turn this into a two-stage rocket. So to do that, go to the Rocket Design Attributes tab and change it from a single stage to a two-stage. And then if you come over to the components, you'll see that there's now a sustainer and a booster. So now we're going to add parts to this booster. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this body tube And when you copy the body tube and paste it onto the booster, basically you get the tube plus the fins and everything that was inside of the tube, including the launch lug. So everything from here that's attached to the tube will come with it. And so I'll get an engine mount as well, and that's what I'm going to do. And then I'll modify that. So to copy it, I do a right click and do copy. And then I'm going to come down here to booster, highlight the booster, and then do a go under edit and go paste. Okay, so it pasted it, but you're not seeing it. And the reason you're not seeing it is because right now I'm only displaying the upper stage. So if I click and do this and display 2 stages, now I got 2 stages here. And look at that. So essentially, oh, this is better than I thought, because I thought I was going to get this back part of the tube, but it's not, because that wasn't part of the tube. So now we'll change the direction of those fins. So if I click on it, it highlights it and it tells me where it is in the parts tree. And I can go and edit this. And basically what we're going to do is, like, see right now it says the sweep angle on these fins is 59.58 degrees. I'm going to put a negative in there and hit the tab, and it switched them forward. And so basically it just reversed the fin. Actually, that's not what I wanted. It's close, but it's not right because they were already swept. So I need to do, so it's sweeping, this line here is at minus 59, and this one is at plus 59. So what's the difference there? 59, you got to get it to 90. So 90 plus, so I need a calculator. Where's a calculator? Here's a calculator. So 90 plus 59.588. Is that going to be right? It's going to be 149. That's not going to be right because it's going to go like down to here, and I don't want that. So 90 minus 59.588. So I'm taking this number right here. Oh, where'd my calculator go? Equals 30.412. So let's try 30.412. 30.412, and it's a negative. No, that's still not right. It's 0. Maybe it is 58.588 or whatever it is. What the heck happened there? Cancel. If you ever make a mistake, cancel and save my changes, no. And it goes back to where it was, and then I can just re-edit. So is that right? I want the back edge at that. I don't know what the angle on this back edge is. I could figure it out, but it's just too much for my brain. So I'm just going to sweep these forwards until it looks about right. So that's pretty close. So Kevin, it's a little easier, but you can't switch the whole part, but you can change the angle of the fins. If I look at this in 3D, so you click on this and come down to 3D, you'll see that the fins, they're made one big mess right there because they're overlapping. So we need to rotate the fins also. So to do that, come here to radial position, and I'm going to rotate these 30 degrees. And that is That looks correct. No, not correct. It needs to be 60 degrees. Yeah, that's correct. So now they are interlocking like that supernova rocket. Although I think this tube is longer because I don't think this is going to be stable. So let me look at it in 2D. And holy cow. So my center of gravity is way up here, but I can tell it says user specified. So if you see user specified here, then come up here to mass override, and it says use these values for all the simulations, and I'm going to uncheck that. And then if you uncheck it, then RockSim recalculates it. If it was checked, see what it's using is a sustainer measured mass of 37.3 grams, and it has a CG of 6.3. But I'm showing a sustainer plus a booster, and it says when there's a sustainer plus a booster, the CG should be at 0 inches, which it is right there. So that's what the problem is. It doesn't have a CG point for that. So I'll just let RockSim calculate it, and then it gets me there. But is this still okay to fly it this way? To find out, you really have to put in the rocket motors, because the rocket motors are heavy, and they're going to move that center of gravity backwards. The center of pressure won't change, but this location will, and it will move backwards. And if this symbol right here is behind this center pressure symbol, then the rocket is unstable. So let's load some motors in it and just check it. So choose an engine. And you always want to put in the heaviest engine that you'll fly. A C6 for an 18 is probably as heavy as you're going to get. And click OK there, and I'm going to load that engine in all the stages, so the upper stage and the bottom stage are now loaded. Then just click OK, and it did move back, but it is still in front of the center of pressure, but it's very close. So that's not typically good, but I'd like to see that that margin of 1.0. A margin of 1.0 means that this location is in front of this location by 1 body tube diameter. So here's the body tube diameter, that length there, and this one is only 0.54, so it's closer together. If you fly it, we can launch this thing and look at what the trajectory looks like. I'm just looking through here, and so it's going to be straight up launch and 0 degrees angle of attack with an 8-mile-an-hour wind. And we launch it, and it shows it crashed, but that just means that it hit the ground before the parachute came out. But did it go unstable? So here's the rocket sitting on the pad. When we launch it, it takes off. It's going to be okay, but it's... So here's the problem. That's why it crashed. And there's our booster stage falling off. So our delay was wrong here. We need a 0-second delay in the booster stage, because if we let the booster stage go too long, the rocket's orientation is pointing downwards. And so to fix that is pretty trivial. You know, you just go back and change. You find the upper stage or the booster stage motor right here. This little symbol tells me it's the booster stage, because this is the upper stage. There's the booster stage, and then if there's a third stage, it would be right there. And you just change the delay to a 0, and then just refly it. And this time, I'm sure it'll go a lot higher, and it won't crash. It didn't crash, but it was still going up when it deployed. So it's still going up, and it's going to get close right there. It was still going up just a hair, not too bad, And if I drag it down, it lands pretty far away though, 1,200 feet downrange. But it's an okay flight. It stayed within the weathercocking cone. So I want the highest point between these two black dashed lines. And the highest point is like right there, and that's definitely between those two lines. So we're okay. So that answers Kevin's question. And Terry figured it out for me, 22.2 degrees. So how close was I on the booster fin set? I was at minus 42. This is plus 59 degrees. I don't know. It's got to be close to 42 because that looks pretty right. Kevin's Models and More says, thanks, Tim. You understood my question better than I worded it. Your explanation was spot on. 46 and 2 Tool says, I saw Tim's team used it and the rocket went around 5,800 feet, I believe. I'm not sure what he's talking about. Alfred Indy says, what motor did you use in the Zephyr for the level 2? And he's asking that of 46 and 2 Tool. 44.4. Yeah, 44.4 would probably be pretty close. Yeah, that works. Works for me. I don't know what that question is. Let me see if there's no more questions right now. So let me see if there's anything that I missed. I'm not sure when the audio dropped out, but it's back now. Terry Willick says, okay, can you design a vanilla rocket? Well, that's the Estes Alpha. It's pretty vanilla. I don't know what a vanilla rocket is. Tim, what is your FAA altitude waiver for your club? For my club, I think they just raised it, but it was 8,000 feet above ground level. But I thought they raised it to 10,000 feet. I never get that high anyway, so I could probably look it up. Our club is SCORE Rocketry, so www.scronline.net. Yep, there it is. Hudson Ranch, the flying sites. Oh, here it is. Standing waiver, 12,000 feet above ground level. Yeah, so it's even better. But I still never get that high. I'm looking for any questions that I might have missed. If you have a question about RockSim, we still have 10 minutes, so there's still plenty of time. Okay, we got no questions. Okay, so let's take that supernova rocket that we just had, that we just designed. Let's click OK there, and I'm going to save this file. I'm going to save it to my desktop. So I'm going to go File, Save As. I'm going to just call it Supernova. And I want to put it on my desktop. Supernova, and hit Save. Okay, so I saved it. So like if you downloaded it from the internet, you save it onto your computer, and then you go to the RockSim. I want to go launch. There it is. I got 1,000 windows open. Okay, so if I wanted to upload that design, I'd go here to select rocket and then choose upload new design. And then I'm going to browse for it on my computer. And it's going to be on my desktop. And there it is, Supernova. Click open and upload. And if everything goes well, I get that message. And it should, there it is. There's Supernova rocket. Yep, and the fins are interdigitated. So that's cool. So that's how fast it is to upload a rocket to the launch visualizer. And then we need to choose the launch site, and I think we already chose that launch site, Dawsonville. And let me go back to the launch site, and there it is right there where that red dot is. I just want to get the lay of the land, you know, kind of like where the trees are and what do I need to avoid. And so north is pointed straight up, and so I got a tree line here. This looks to be a little pond. I got a house there. I would probably like to land in this area, so I'm going to aim. If I got a wind coming, I'm going to assume the wind is coming out of the west and blowing across the field. And if I open up a new tab, let me go to windy. I'm going to see what the winds are. Windy.com. I forget what the name of that city was. Ballfield. Well, I'll just choose somewhere close. Okay, so let's choose Roswell. You see these little streamlines there? That's the wind. And right now, I'm looking for the speed of the wind. This is in knots. If I can change the units. Click to change units. Oh, it's clicking. Miles per hour. And it's, wow, it's showing as a kind of a purple color, which is very fast. It's kind of breezy there today. It can't be that fast, is it? Like 40 miles an hour there right now? Huh. Roswell, Georgia. Okay, so here's some wind down here. Friday, I'm looking at the temperature, and is it covering it up? Now let me move this over just a little bit. The wind, miles per hour, it's close to 5 o'clock there, so it's 11 miles per hour. See, this color is not really what, then it's coming out of the direction, is coming the kind of southwest. So if I go back to the launch visualizer, where's my launch visualizer? There it is, launch visualizer. And I got to set my wind condition, so I know the wind is coming out of here at 11 miles per hour. So I may want to move my launch site to here. And that's my new launch site. I'm going to confirm that site. And then I'm going to set, so I still want to go kind of to the north. I'm going to launch kind of maybe a little bit to the northwest. Just aim it just a couple of degrees from vertical. And then I'm going to go to the launch conditions, and I'm going to go to the wind, select the wind, and it was going to be 11 miles per hour. Make sure that this is in miles per hour. And it was coming out of kind of this-ish direction. Click OK. Now we'll choose an engine. So we'll last time we had C6s in it. So let's choose Estes C6, and we'll say 0 seconds, and we'll load that into both motors. So just by clicking this button, it loads both of those, but now we need to change the upper stage to 7 seconds. So I need to scroll over here and change it from 0 to 7. So now my engines, I should have changed this too to 0.5, because the engine hangs out the back a little bit. 0.5. All right, and then let's launch it, see what happens. Simulate. Let's see if we can keep it in the field. And if not, then we need to adjust something. It's showing both engines hanging out the back. Oh well, it will still fly. So there's that launch field. There's all those trees. Oops. Swing it around. So that north is pointed up. And so there's the field. And I want to launch over here. I don't know where we're going to land, but it's going to be in the air 140 seconds, so that's not good. Let me turn on some... turn on the trajectory path, the ground path. Those are the one I wanted to see. Okay, so the rocket takes off, and there it is, right there. It took off, and it's going pretty straight. You can see the smoke coming out. And it's arcing over. And we're pretty high already at 2,000 feet, 2,100 feet. Now the parachute came out, and it is descending. You can see the rocket's in a vertical configuration. But where's it going to land? Where do you think it's going to land? It's probably not going to land on the field. So let's grab the time slider and just drag it all the way to the end. Okay, so it did not land in the field. It landed way over here, but it landed in a clearing. There's a lot of trees around here, man, oh man. But I missed this pond over here, which is good, but I landed right there. And it's a distance of 2,200 feet away from where I launched it. So that's not good. So I can't really go too much further to the west when for the position of the launch pad, because I got trees, I got a little clearing right here, but if I launch right here, I would probably never see the rocket because it would be obscured by those trees. At least here, I could see that it landed over there because my line of sight is pretty good. There's nothing in the way except for this, maybe this house right there. So I need to angle it more towards the, maybe more towards the west. So I'm going to go back to the starting state, and instead of launching to the north, we're going to go almost west. And I'm going to go just a few degrees off of west, and then I'm going to angle it more. I can't go more than 30 degrees because that would violate the NAR safety code. See, once you get above 30 degrees, it turns red. You can still launch it in the launch visualizer, but in real life, you're not supposed to go past 30 degrees. So there's our 30 degrees from vertical. Let's launch it again and see what happens this time. See if we can get it closer to the, into this field right there. It's almost 3 o'clock. Now all the questions came in. Okay, so there's the rocket sitting on the pad right there where my cursor is. We're angling it this way because north. Let me swing north around. Okay, so the rocket somewhere over in here. It's just like really small right now. As soon as it takes off, we'll see the smoke. So it cleared that. Now I think my delay is probably going to be too long. That's not too bad. I got the red dot though. The red dot is not good. That means that it went more horizontal than vertical. But we can back it out and see where it's going to land this time. I'm going to just drag the time slider all the way to the end. Oh, look at that. I did not. So it's angled too much because now it's, you know, I wanted to land over here, but it landed way up here in this corner. So I'm still in the field, but not quite where I want to be. So what do you think we should do? Probably we can go a little bit more vertical, but we definitely want to go, we'll probably have to go due west. So let's launch one more time. This is what the launch visualizer is for. This exact thing, you know, trying to figure out where we should launch so that we get our rocket back. So basically I'm going more vertical, but I'm still going into the wind, and then I switched the azimuth angle to almost due west. It's a little bit south of west, and then I click launch down here in the corner. And let's simulate. Let's see what happens this time. Okay, so I'm going to switch to this view and turn off that. So our rocket was launched over here, and when we launch it again, it takes off, and it's going more straighter this time. It's going really high. But you can see the ground path. It went west, and at this point we've reached Apogee, and the parachute came out, and it is drifting. And I'm trying to drag this. Yeah, that's better. It's a little bit further north than I want to be. I would rather be like right in here, but it's not too bad. It's still on my field. So I would say, you know, other than being this red dot means that it's outside the cone, the trajectory cone. So if I turn that on right here, you'll see it. And see the cone emanating up from the launch pad. We want that highest point, which is this one. We want it inside of that cone. So that's the one thing I don't like about this launch is because we had to angle it so much. It weathercocked pretty far into the wind. You could see, you know, this is the ground path, so it went way over these trees before it finally popped the parachute, and then it drifted to the it drifted over there because my wind is not coming out of the west, it's coming from the southwest. So, but not too bad. Not too bad. Let's see what we got going here. Carlos says alien saucers don't weathercock. That's true, but they also don't go very high. Kevin's Models and More and says, instead of guessing on the launch angle, can you tell RockSim where you want it to land and then give you the proper launch angle? That is a really good question. Unfortunately, we don't have that capability. In RockSim Pro, you do have a little bit of that. So let me go back to this launch site because I need that latitude and longitude coordinates. Okay, so I'll make this my last one here. Where'd that go? It was slid over onto my other screen and then disappeared. It had to be all the way on this one or none of the yet. Okay, so this is RockSim, but if we go into RockSim Pro, let me minimize that. That's Google Earth. We can minimize that. Do I have RockSim Pro open here? Yes, right here. So let's open that design. And I put it on the desktop. Supernova, open. Do I save my changes? No. Okay, so there's my design. And let's load this, engines. Okay, so we've got the C60 and a C67 loaded. I want to do a launch simulation, but I need to know my launch conditions. Okay, so here's where I need to put in the latitude and the longitude coordinates. And that was right here. I'm trying to keep it on this screen. I want to see both at the same time, and it's not going to let me. So that's our altitude. Copy that. I copied the wrong thing. Copy. Paste. Paste. Here's the latitude. Copy. Paste. Copy. There, come on. Paste. Okay, so the wind table, what did we say our wind was coming out at? So the wind was at 233 degrees at 11 miles an hour. So I have to create a new wind table, and the wind direction has to be 233, and that one has to be 233. This has to be 11, and that's 11. So basically, in this wind table, this is at sea level. It's at zero feet. It's coming out of the 233 direction. And then I have a wind at 40,000 feet above sea level, also coming out at 11 miles an hour at the 233 direction. So anywhere from sea level all the way up to 40,000 feet, it's coming at 11 miles an hour. And I want to save this. Wind table 11 miles an hour from the 233 degree direction, and I'm going to save that wind table so if anything happens I can open it up again. Okay, so flight events, they're going to deploy a stage at maximum ejection delay, and we should have a 0 second in the booster. And the parachute is at 7 seconds. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Is we're going to run this simulation 100 times, and the mass is not going to change. Nothing's going to change over here, but my wind direction is not going to change. The velocity is not going to change. My azimuth and elevation angles, those are the two things that we're going to change. And I forgot what my azimuth, my starting state, because we had a different starting state over here. So our starting state was 19.4 degrees from vertical, and then 266.02 direction. Copy that. 19.4. Okay, and this was 19.4. And so now under the uncertainties, what we're going to do is we're going to say we're going to allow this to change and we're going to allow that to change. And how many degrees difference are we going to allow? Let's allow up to 30 degrees there and maybe 10 degrees on the elevation angle. And let's run this 100 times. And it's going fairly fast, so I can take a drink of water. You'll see when this counter gets to 100, then we'll be done. Alfred Indy says, like the Apogee atomizer, it has a boat tail. I think that's what it's called. Now the atomizer has a ring tail. So he's talking about, so here on the Apogee website, atomizer. So the atomizer, and it has the ring tail. But it's cool. I agree with you, Alfred. And Terry Wheelock said the same thing. Okay, we're at number 65 out of 100. It estimates about another 15 more seconds to go. Terry Wheelock says, how many fins can we put on a rocket? Ooh, Terry, that's a good question. RockSim allows 8 in a set, but you can have multiple sets. So it's probably almost an infinite number. Okay, so RockSim is done. And here is that same launch simulation that we saw in the launch visualizer. So RockSim Pro has the launch visualizer built into it. So what we're seeing here is we're not seeing anything different than what we saw before. It is 3D like the launch visualizer. And you can turn on the trajectory path. And I'm going to make that a green color so you can see it a little easier. And the only thing I'll turn off is the points. Click OK. Okay, so there's the rocket coming down. Let me turn this to that. Yeah, I also have the booster stage turned on. The booster stage, since this is a 2-stage rocket, the booster stage landed right here. That's where we want the upper stage to land. Look at where this one's landed. What the heck? That was where the first time we launched it. I must have grabbed the conditions from our very first launch. Interesting. Okay, so that's that, but what RockSim Pro also has is you can look at it in Google Earth, and I've already got Google Earth running. So there is, I got multiples. Oh yeah, I'm seeing 2 trajectories here, and one of them is wrong. This one right here is the booster stage, because the booster stage, I remembered it landed right there. Then our upper stage landed over here, and it shows the trajectory like we saw in the launch visualizer. But the other thing that it displays for us is all those landing points, all 100 landing points. So I can turn them on here. And so each of these is a landing point. And if I click on one of these, oh, shoot. One of the simulations landed exactly where we wanted, number 19. The problem is I can't display because there's a bug. We fixed the bug, but we haven't released the fix yet. So I can't show you what the details are on that. Let me see if there's another way of displaying it. So if I go to here again and go to a little RockSim landing point chart. So yeah, this bug isn't, we fixed the bug, but it's still, we haven't released the fix. This was the launch point down here, this green triangle, because the green color is the launch point. The nominal landing point is that gray triangle right there. That one was like way too far away. I think the one that we wanted to land at was right here. And I can't display what it took to get there. So the answer to your question, who was it, Kevin, is can you have RockSim predict the proper launch angle and azimuth angle to get the rocket to land where you want it? RockSim Pro can get you there, but you have to run multiple simulations to get it there. It doesn't have in artificial intelligence. What I did when I was running it in the launch visualizer, that's intelligence. Is you run a simulation, see where it lands, and then you make a guess and say, okay, if I angle it a little bit more that way, I think I can get it to land there. So that's intelligence. That's what it needs. But it doesn't have that intelligence, so the only way to find that point is to do a brute force attack and run hundreds or thousands of simulations until you find the point, and then you can see what caused it to land at that location. And then unfortunately, in this particular version that I have on my computer, I can't click on it and show you that. But we have fixed it because I have another version, but not on this computer, that does have it fixed. So we have gone long again. So we do need to stop because we've gone way past 1 hour, and so we will be back next week. We'll be in May. I'm not sure what the date is going to be. May, let's see, Sunday is the 30th, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday would be the May 5th. And we'll be back 2 o'clock Mountain Time Zone, 4 p.m. on the East Coast. So until next time, go out and launch something. And I'll try to also, even though my next launch is not until the 5th.